Thank you so much for tuning in to the channel today. All right, so we've got a trade to talk about. The Montreal Canadiens have actually made a trade as Jake Allen is being sent over to the New Jersey Devils for a conditional third-round pick. And the condition is actually fairly interesting on this one. So the condition simply is that if Jake Allen plays 40 games between now and next season included, the third-round pick becomes a second-round pick. We're assuming right now it's 2025, but we don't have that exact year in front of us right now as to when that pick will be. But presuming that it includes next season in the condition, you'd have to think it's at least 2025 or later, where if Jake Allen plays 40 games with the New Jersey Devils, the third round pick becomes a second round pick. And also, a very important piece of information about salary retention is that this is actually the Canadiens' final retention spot they will be using on Jake Allen. They will be retaining 50% of Jake Allen's salary. And let's actually get that from Chris Johnston here. So the Habs are retaining 50% of Jake Allen's $3.85 million cap hit, significant because that contract runs through the end of next season. The conditional, this is the official announcement here from reporter Chris Johnston. It hasn't actually been released from the Canadiens just yet, but to me, this was the most important move that the Canadiens could have made before the end of this season, at least in terms of the goaltending situation is concerned. This was the most important and necessary of the moves. We know for all season long, we've had Kent Hughes talking about how, they'd like to move Jake Allen before the trade deadline. It's not a guarantee. They don't have to. Here's Jake Allen basically waving goodbye to Montreal fans. And it was certainly a good tenure that he had with us, with the Canadiens here. And this was the most important move to me, though, because of the fact that they ran the three goaltender system all season with Caden Primo, Jake Allen, and Sam Montembeault. And there hasn't been a ton of time for Caden Primo to develop, but he's developed enough this season that the Canadiens are going to trust him to be the backup the rest of the way for the Canadiens for just under 20 games to go. So Caden Primo is going to get a lot more reps in before the end of this season. This situation's been resolved, and actually it's a nice piece of business from Kent Hughes. The fact that he got a conditional third rounder for Jake Allen. We saw what went for Tyler Toffoli. They got a second and a third for Tyler Toffoli over to Winnipeg, right? So the fact that Kent Hughes was able to get two first-round picks for Sean Monahan and a conditional third-round pick, which could become a second-round pick for Jake Allen, good piece of business here for Kent Hughes. He doesn't have to move David Savard. David Savard is more of an asset to the Canadiens right now on the ice and in the locker room. He's on contract for until at least the end of next season, right? So this is an important piece of business for Kent Hughes, and I think that's why I put it in the title. It's the most important. It's the most important for several reasons, right? I mean, the Canadiens haven't done this before. They haven't really run, not in recent memory anyway, where they've actually run with three goaltenders to start the season up until now. From the first day of the season in October till now, March the 8th, and the trade deadline, they've had three goalies with the Canadiens. So this was really important, and I think that the 50% retention spot makes perfect sense to utilize it on Jake Allen. We kind of thought that that's where it could go, whereas David Savard is going to be more usable. They can actually play him up until the end of next season and then trade him if they want to. So it's a good piece of business. I like it for Jake Allen, and the 50% retention means that the Canadiens will pay $1.925 million next season for Jake Allen. They have a little bit of retention still left on Jeff Petrie and Joel Edmondson for this season. Next season, they have some for Jeff Petrie, $2.43 million next season retained on Jeff Petrie, and then next season about 1.925 retained on Jake Allen for next season. So they've used their retention spots wisely here. They've made a good deal, and I think that it just makes perfect sense. So once again, the condition is if Jake Allen plays 40 games with the New Jersey Devils, that third round pick becomes a second. So that's only a bonus for the Canadiens' sake. And if the Winnipeg Jets win the Stanley Cup, well, they get a third round pick from the Sean Monahan deal too, right? So that doesn't hurt anything. But basically, this is it. This is the deal. Jake Allen is no longer a Montreal Canadian. He has served his time at the Canadiens. He's been a heck of a professional, a consummate professional from start to finish with the Canadiens, never complaining once about the fact that he wasn't getting as many starts. And I'm proud to say that I was able to go see Jake Allen play live in Buffalo several times, dominating the Sabres in all the games that I ever watched him play in. So it was a lot of fun. And the last game that I saw in Buffalo, Jake Allen stood on his head for a .973 save percentage. And David Savard had the shift of his life where he got injured, lost a skate blade, and blocked a ton of shots, and showed another reason why he has so much value still with the Montreal Canadiens, specifically to mentor the young defensemen on the Montreal Canadiens, namely Arbor Jacki. Look at all the help he's given him and other players too. Caden Gooley, Jordan Harris, you name the player, right? So let's see what he can do for Lane Hudson as he comes in. David Reinbacher, right? Another right-handed shot defenseman of the future. Well, the right-handed shot defenseman of the future is David Reinbacher, possibly Logan Mailloux. But David Savard is going to be there for these guys, and that's key for their development. So I think that this was the right move for Kent Hughes' sake. He got a good retention. He used the retention spot wisely, and the condition on the third rounder is great. It could become a second rounder. Let me know what you guys think down below. Can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. Hit the like button on the video if you guys want to support the channel. And, of course, hit subscribe if you haven't already. So thank you guys for watching. Go Habs, go. The deadline has come and passed. It's not even 3 o'clock yet. We could get another deal before then. Who knows? But this was the best case scenario, I believe, to move on from Jake Allen. Let Caden Primo and Sam Montembeault ride the wave of the rest of the season. And now we can have Caden Primo and potentially Sam Montembeault be our 2 goalies next season. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it, guys. Cheers.